Lovely to see you all. I'm Thomas Rebermark. I'm director of Swedish Waterhouse at SJWP, Stockholm International Water Institute. We are working with raising awareness and creating higher knowledge amongst stakeholders and decision makers, but also working to bringing out good examples and good ideas and good thoughts to an international audience, and do so connected to the UNFCCC process. So that's me.
Thanks so much, Thomas. Okay, so today our session is looking at drivers of change that are shaping the future of the water industry. So this session is really about taking a step out of our day-to-day work to explore the forces and factors that are going to be shaping the industry and society and the environment going forward. So to do this, we'll be using Arup Foresight's drivers of change cards. And these are a set of cards that were first developed in 2010 and updated in 2007 and in need of a bit of a refresh. So this exercise is actually hopefully going to be helping us as a first step in that direction. But this card set is broken down into STEEP, which is a framework that ensures that we're taking a holistic systems-based view of the landscape. And STEEP is social, technological, economic, environmental, and political. So it ensures that rather than just narrowing down on all the new cool technology or all the political factors, that you're really getting a systems view of the changes that are happening. So as we're going in this exercise, the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to break you out into groups to actually have conversations about these drivers. And first, you'll have a few minutes to review these 40 cards in the top left that you can see on the screen. And this is not an exhaustive list. It's expanded from our initial drivers of change, but it's not exhaustive. So you can take a few minutes to fill any gaps that you see. And then you'll select 2 or 3 sticky notes that you find really interesting or challenging and drop them into this matrix that you can see in the middle in breakout 1, this drivers mapping exercise. And you'll see that there's an axis of relative uncertainty and relative importance. And this is really to open up a discussion for you as a group to ask each other why you've chosen certain sticky notes and the rationale behind mapping them on the matrix. So there's really no one correct way of mapping, and the value here is really in debating and discussing the relative importance and uncertainty. And importantly, when we bring you back together, we want to ask for one challenging or surprising insight from your conversation. So Stephanie is now going to break you out into groups. And your group breakout number should correspond with the space on the Miro board. And Stephanie, if you could also share that link in the chat.
Yes, so I will. And how many breakout groups are we wanting with this group? I will share this now. Should we do 2?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. And maybe we can double up on facilitators.
Yeah. So I'm doing that now. And then, yeah, I will open the rooms. So everyone should be moving. Tomas, I did not assign you to a room, but if you are wanting to go to one, I will assign you.
Please send me to one. I'm most
Okay.
happy to.
Hello, I think someone... Hi, Eleanor. You have just joined us, so I'm going to assign you to a room really quickly. We're just doing breakout rooms now. Okay, I have 3 rooms, and I'll have 3 to 4 people. I'm wondering if I should have broken up room 3.
How many people in room 3?
There are like 3 to 4 people per room. Hello to those who just joined.
Okay.
We're just assigning breakout rooms. Oh, boycott automatically put. Okay.
Guess that could have been expected that our that we'd have a few people trickling in with the early hours.
Yeah.
And I guess the session is being recorded, but it's really just
Oh, it's just us.
Yeah.
Can I assign the recording to a breakout room?
Yeah.
I don't know if I
although
can.
I'm actually not sure that that's the best idea. I don't think that we should really be recording this session at all because that's something that they'd need to opt into. I didn't actually realize that it would be recorded. Wondering if we should ask Ida to stop the recording because none of the session is really taking place in this
Yeah,
space.
that's all right. I assume it's not like being distributed to anywhere because like we were actually told we weren't. I thought we were told we weren't able to get that or distribute it. So we'll see.
Okay.
Oh man, now there are 5 people in room 3 and 3 people in room 1 and 2. I should have done 2 breakout rooms.
It's okay. I think it is just fine.
It's like primarily our facilitators.
Yeah. Well,
So I
we
should
do what
have
we can.
done
Well,
2.
then they're gonna be having some really rich conversations then.
Yeah, because they're in the know.
Yeah. And I'm gonna change our second exercise to 15 minutes somehow. 30 minutes, which
Someone's joining, so. Hi, we are having some breakout room discussions. Oh, she's connecting to audio. Hi, we're having breakout room discussions. So I don't know. I don't know if they can ever hear me. Oh, she's gone.
I think she's left.
I think it might be like intimidating to open this and see that it's 4 people.
2 people.
Yeah. Given 60 seconds. Welcome back, room 3. Hopefully room 1 joins us soon.
Thank you.
And here comes group 1.
Welcome back, everyone. Still coming through. Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. I hope that you had some fruitful discussions. It would be great if we could share back very briefly group 1 first on something that was particularly surprising or challenging about kind of placing these cards. What was what really made you think, or what was a big point of conversation for your group?
Talal was going to speak for our group.
Yeah, so they volunteered me from their side. So basically, what I was thinking, my point was regarding the uncertainties on the water rights, because in most of the underdeveloping countries, people might have access to the water. Yeah, in some area they might have access to the water, but the thing is that their right is not secured on that. So they might be facing an issues in any circumstances. They might lose their water rights, so that will be an uncertainty for that. And keeping that in view, if you take it on the higher levels, keeping in with the trans boundary water management, so in few countries, we can take the example of Pakistan. We mostly have the transboundary issues with India, and even within the provinces on the water allocation. So that creates within provinces, you cannot say that it will create water wars, but maybe between the countries, if they are they face water scarcity in future, so that will be going towards the water wars. And culture uses of the water, so mostly keeping in view the Islamic concept. So they say that do not even waste a single drop of water, even you are around a river and you have a lot of that. So it depends if we can keep those things in view and manage our water resources. So as for the other side, let me zoom in. So yeah, flood risks. You all are aware that keeping in view the context of the Pakistan, we recently faced floods which cost around 40 billion USD loss to the country. So these risks, and without the management, they gonna cause a lot of problems. Yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you, Tal.
yeah, thanks.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. And group 3, could you also share a little bit about the conversations that you were having?
Absolutely. I think, Thomas, will you kick us off? I can join in as well.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my camera coming off and on, but I'll try, and please support me, Bart and Manuel and Elan. I think we came in quite quickly into what do we see missing, basically, and what other issues could be of importance to bring into this already very filled in tab or matrix. So we ended up in talking about the indigenous knowledge or cultural science, and the importance and how that we believe that is something. We also discussed the value of water, and we're touching on the next year's report from the Global Commission of Economics of Water, and how that will be something that will grasp on or touch on and build that momentum on that issue. We also talked about engineered technology, IoT, and also the issue related to migration and how that will affect in different. Please, Bart, fill in if I'm missing out on something.
No, not at all. That's excellent. Thanks so much. I mean, I think one of the interesting discussions we had was around, we all agreed that all of these things are incredibly important, but actually how certain or uncertain they are. And for example, both on valuing water and indigenous knowledge, we know that they are incredibly important. What is uncertain, and actually we know that, for example, the indigenous knowledge is there, it is rich. We've been seeing fantastic sessions all week at the World Water Week on indigenous perspective. And I've been here for 10 years, the most powerful sessions I've ever seen. But so we know the knowledge is there and it's strong. What we don't know is whether it will be adopted and will be incorporated and will be listened to and will be brought into the processes. And same with valuing water. We know it's important, but it's not certain how much more people will start valuing it over time. But like Thomas said, the Global Commission on the Economics of Water and their work should hopefully push along people valuing water more. So I'll stop there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It sounds like you're already kind of starting to have some of those conversations of their intersections. So that leads us really nicely into our second breakout session. And this is the qualitative cross-impact matrix. And the idea here is actually to see how these trends interact with each other. So you'll see, Stephanie, if you can scroll to the right a little bit, you'll have a space to bring over 3 of the trends that you find kind of most impactful, that you're having a lot of conversation around, and do try to have a bit of a mix across the steep categories. And you're going to copy across these trends and duplicate them. So trend A will be duplicated in both trend A boxes and trend B. So then you're going to have conversations and put some sticky notes into those spaces on the matrix about how they might be interacting. And here, you're really wanting to see what new conditions are created when these phenomena come together, and what risks do they create when combined. But also start to think about the solutions that might come out. What things do we need to have in place to mitigate risk, or where are the opportunities for innovation? And you don't need to populate the whole matrix, that's quite a bit, but a few high quality interactions is better than trying to get all that information across. And when you come back together, we're going to be asking you to share back your most kind of radical idea or innovation or solution based on these interactions. So off you go. Have a great conversation, and we'll see you back in 15 minutes.
Okay, I will open rooms. Oh, no. Back to, okay, let's do. Okay, I'll start to close the rooms in just a minute.
Great. Welcome back, everyone. Still waiting on group 1, I believe. Hello all, I think we have everyone back in the main room now. So I hope that was a fruitful conversation. First from group number 3, about some of the more radical ideas or solutions or suggestions that you guys came up with.
Sorry, I have to unmute myself. Can you hear me? There we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And Thomas had to kind of get into his next session, but he said thank you very much and really enjoyed it. So, but he sends his apologies for the last few minutes. So we just quickly we really focused in on the interaction between the indigenous knowledge kind of driver trend, well, you know, that we mentioned earlier, and then the digital twin track, or just the digital track and the valuing water track. We discussed that so I've got to be able to read my own notes here. We basically discussed that actually that there shouldn't be a contradiction between the two. That, you know, indigenous knowledge, indigenous perspective, which has been around for centuries and thousands of years, should be perfectly compatible with kind of modern technology and new systems and digital spaces. The idea is that the two should be complementary to one another. There was a suggestion in a session yesterday that, you know, someone asked, how does cybersecurity, you know, how is indigenous knowledge relevant to cybersecurity? And the answer was actually, you should think about the guiding principles from an indigenous perspective, and they should drive the implementation of technology. They should drive and we linked it with valuing water. So actually, those principles should also drive which uses of water are valued more than others, to make sure that the water itself has agency, that the environment is respected. So we really talked about the interaction between digital, indigenous, and how that impacts on the value of water and the perceptions of the value of water. So it was a good discussion.
Fantastic. That's interesting nexus, and I think it's a really big question in world.
Oh, and we talked about a risk. Sorry, one risk as well. You know, is there a risk that, you know, we're all going to be driven by
group
robots?
One, would you like?
Oh, sorry.
And Nancy was going to share from our group.
Yeah, actually, we had an interesting discussion, especially focused on two parallel mechanisms, or that should go simultaneously, related to community development and to policies and enforcement of policy. We said that we should build awareness and trust within the community members. And we believe that there are, you know, because we're dealing with a public good, it's water, so that it's an externality, and people can free ride easily. So you cannot apply the traditional valuing process or traditional economics. So there is this reciprocity norms. So if people in the community trust each other and they do have good reciprocity norms, so they are more likely to conserve water or not to pollute water, whatever is the behavior we're talking about here. And at the same level, we should have good regulation and policy enforcement, and create good, strong institutions that are connected to the people and that people can trust. I mean, there should be some trust that would make the process easier. Also, we talked about water stress. Yeah.
Sorry, we're fun time. It sounds like you guys have had some fantastic conversations and dealt with a lot of complexity and uncertainty today. But we hope you kind of bring this structure to your work and to your colleagues to think more deeply and strategically about the future and these opportunities that you have to kind of drive change, and what are your levers to drive a more positive future. So thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you had some interesting conversations, and best of luck in your future careers as leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.